ready for them. Still approaching quietly. They're off. The JCB Triumph Hurdle gets Gold Cup Day underway, and the nose-banded OPEC leads them down towards the first of the 8 scheduled flights. Gibbs Island, also nose-banded, black and white jacket, is handy, but it was OPEC who had the lead over the first, and Papano, the early back marker, pink cap, a little bit disorganised as well. Long run on towards the second, OPEC leading up, tracked towards the right, towards the inside of the hurdles, tracked by Lulamba in the black and yellow and 2 Bosphorus in a white jacket. Gibbs Island chasing the leaders, East India Dock, yellow and black, the white cap for Sam Twiston-Davies in the leading line, with Lady Vega Allen and Blue Lemons in a red jacket out wide. In behind horses, Place de la Nation, the maroon and white with a white cap, and Charlotte in the dark green and red is back in midfield, followed early by Mondo Man, who's tucked away on the inside in the white and dark green hoops as they draw to the second. OPEC just leading, 2 stablemate and favourite East India Dock, who sits on the leader's tail. Lulamba racing around the inner to Lady Vega Allen in the stripes out wide, and then Gibbs Island and Place de la Nation, who race side by side with Mondo Man up the running rail. Blue Lemons in the red and pink jacket is racing wide of Charles, and Hello Neighbour in the red and white, and then Lumiere du Large spot the maroon cap with a white star. Willie Do Well, the grey, is down on the inside 3/4 of the way back, being followed by Poneros in the royal blue, and then St Lucie in a pink jacket. 2 Bosphorus races next with Larzac in the McManus hoops, and just about last of a well-grouped field as they draw towards the third is Papano. OPEC taken on out wide by Lady Vega Allen. Another small mistake towards the rear of the field by Papano, who hasn't hurdled particularly fluently through the early part of the race. They're moving on towards the fourth, and Lady Vega Allen just beginning to get loose on the lead here. OPEC, who forced the early pace, has dropped back very quickly, made a mistake there, and he's now just about in last place. Lady Vega Allen taking them towards halfway over East India Dock, who flicked through the top of that flight but is stalking the pace. In turn, tracked through by Lulamba, the black and yellow checks for Nico de Boinville. Then Gibbs Island and a sheepskin noseband disputing fourth with Lumiere du Large. Hello Neighbour in the red and white is a little bit closer to Blue Lemons out wide from Mondo Man, and then Place de la Nation to the grey Willie Do Well. Stablemate St Lucie in a pink jacket is out wide as they take the flight at the top of the hill, the third from home. Further back to Poneros from Charlotte, and then back to Larzac, and in behind Larzac is Papano with Stablemate alongside 2 Bosphorus, and OPEC is continuing but is completely tailed off. Lady Vega Allen then brings them down the hill inside the last 3/4 of a mile in the JCB Triumph Hurdle. 2 flights of hurdles to jump. Lulamba just about poking his nose into second, but East India Dock is right alongside. The white cap for Sam Twiston-Davies. Hello Neighbour is beginning to inch ever closer. The red and white disputing fourth on the descent, with Place de la Nation, the maroon and white with a white cap. Then Mondo Man, who's back on the inner to Gibbs Island. St Lucie in a pink jacket is pulled out. Closing in on the second last, it is Lady Vega Allen. East India Dock coming alongside Lulamba between horses, a bit untidy. And now East India Dock stares Lady Vega Allen in the eye. Lulamba at this stage just angling out. Place de la Nation coming wide around the outer. Hello Neighbour turns into the straight, the red and white in fifth. Poneros in a raw blue jacket is running on in behind. It's a lengthy gallop down to the final flight. East India Dock now challenged by Lulamba. Lady Vega Allen, one from the right, Hello Neighbour. On the left, still with every chance, Place de la Nation, and then Poneros. East India Dock approaching the last in the Triumph Hurdle. Rises a length and a half clear. Lulamba is giving chase. Poneros in the raw blue is still running on very strongly. East India Dock, Lulamba is coming on the near side. Poneros out wide, a finish at inches, and Poneros gets through to win the JCB Triumph Hurdle. Sees off Lulamba, East India Dock in third, then Lady Vega Allen and Place de la Nation, and it's Willie Mullins again in the JCB Triumph Hurdle.
And Willie Mullins can do what mere mortals can't. He can
to the 4. They're off for the William Hill County Hurdle, with Ethical Diamond dropped right out at the back of the field, with Irish Panther and Our Champ in the black and pink leads them towards the first, with Spirit de Nu in a dark green jacket handy. So too Cracking Rhapsody in the grey and red, and Norman Fletcher with a white face, the white and red silks rounding out the leading quartet. Undawi in the dark blue and maroon chases the leaders on the long run towards the second, with McClory in the JP silks, the hoops with the white cap out wide, and Hansard racing enthusiastically in behind horses blue and yellow on the sleeves. Fee Duderie in the emerald green and white is back in midfield alongside last year's winner Absurd, the white jacket with the pink cap for Danny Mullins. Cargesi is shadowing Absurd at this stage. Cargesi in the light blue. Daddy Longlegs down on the inner, slightly worse than midfield. The yellow and black upsides the grey, Pinot Gris. And then back to Lark in the morning, the red cap ahead of Valgrand in the shades of blue, crossing flight 2. And the last two over it were Irish Panther and Ethical Diamond, as our champion Spirit d'Ornu take them on rising ground with a circuit to cover. The leading duo move on by a couple lengths to Cracking Rhapsody, the red cap just shading third over Undawi. Norman Fletcher is locked away against the running rail, but is a very close fifth, being followed by McClory. Hansard is on his immediate inner. And then back to Cargesi from Fee Duderie, and Absurd in a white jacket with a pink cap from Daddy Longlegs, the grey Pinot Gris. Lark in the morning, the red cap is further back with Valgrand. And then towards the rear of the field, Irish Panther is still being held up, and Ethical Diamond is last of all, and they clear out over the third, which they've all negotiated neatly enough. Up ahead, Spirit d'Ornu, the dark green, and our champ, the black and pink, continue to push the pace along, each jumping fluently there. They race on by a couple lengths to Undawi, who's racing wide of Cracking Rhapsody, who remains fairly handy. Couple of lengths away then to Hansard, the blue and yellow on the sleeves, who took that fluently enough in about fifth position. Just ahead of McClory, Cargesi in the light blue is weighted with back in mid-division. Norman Fletcher has rather lost his place. He's back on the running rail at some 6 or 7 lengths off the leaders, followed by Fee Duderie and then Absurd to Daddy Longlegs. Lark in the morning, the red cap out wide, still 3/4 of the way down the field, ahead of the grey Pinot Gris as they race across the top of the track and reach 3 out. Valgrand is still towards the back end of the field with Irish Panther and Ethical Diamond, and Norman Fletcher loses further ground. So about to turn on down the hill, entering the last 3/4 of a mile in the William Hill County Hurdle, and on the descent, our champion Spirit d'Ornu still push the pace along. They've been the leading pair from the outset, closely attended by Undawi, who's wide of Cracking Rhapsody, and then Hansard to McClory in the hoops, and Cargesi now is beginning to inch a little closer as they make the descent. She's beginning to come through the field now, Cargesi. Paul Townend in the pearl blue silks. Then back to Fee Duderie, who's on the right running downhill in the emerald green and white, followed by Pinot Gris. Absurd in a pink cap weighted with back in midfield. Irish Panther has been pulled widest of all, 2 out. Still just our champ over Spirit d'Ornu. Cargesi though has come there very powerfully on the outside of Undawi. They're third and fourth respectively. Cracking Rhapsody red cap ridden along as they reach the corner ahead of Hansard. Then Absurd, the pink cap on the move, but now Cargesi on the left moves through to take over. The long run down to the final flight in the William Hill County Hurdle. Cargesi chased by Undawi. Absurd coming out of the pack as he did 12 months ago. The white and pink running on strongly. Pinot Gris and Lark in the morning are running on from the rear. Cargesi, Absurd is closing in. Undawi between them fighting on. Cargesi safely over the last, a length clear, maybe not home yet. Undawi, Ethical Diamond down the centre of the white jacket running on. Cargesi in front. Undawi continues to fight hard, but it's Cargesi doing best, and Cargesi wins the William Hill County Hurdle from Undawi. Absurd probably just third, tight fourth, Spirit d'Ornu, Ethical Diamond, our champ, and Cracking Rhapsody.
It was a tough call for Paul Townend, or maybe it wasn't. She was second in the Triumph last year, and she's won the county
3 shoes.
Year.
They're off. Jump away for the grade 2 Mrs. Paddy Power. Mares Chase, Chateau Port drop right out at the back of the field as they make their way towards the first of 17 scheduled fences, and Allegory de Vassy, pink colours, jumping markedly out to her right over the first. She got over nimbly enough, but she did go right hand down. Leads up by a couple lengths early, extending it over Dino Blue, the white cap, as they clear out over the second. Then the white-faced Bride's Hill blue and yellow silks is down at the running rail. Working across to She Could Be Anything in the yellow sleeves and Limerick lace, the star on the cap a little wider. Deeper still is Fontaine Collage in a dark blue jacket as Allegory de Vassy gives the third fence plenty of daylight. Meanwhile, Royal Margot, dark blue and grey silks, is in the last group of 3. And then towards the rear of the field, Mayhem Maya in a red, white and blue jacket. And last of all, a further 2 or 3 lengths away, Jetée Port. And she would be probably about 10 lengths off the pace-setting Allegorie de Vassy, who brings them towards the end of the first half mile. Turns on in with an advantage of 3 lengths. Over Dino Blue, the white cap, and owner mate Limerick Lace, the star and the cap, 2nd and 3rd respectively. And then Bride's Hill, with Fontaine Calange out widest of all in the dark blue, followed by She Could Be Anything and Royal Margot. Mayhem Maya is last but one, and Jetée Port ridden with exaggerated patience as Allegorie de Vassy leads them over the 5th, jumping soundly enough. Slight error at the rear of the field from Jetée Port. Another pair of fences to take before one complete circuit ahead of them, and it's Allegorie de Vassy and Paul Townend in front by a little over 2 lengths. Tracked by Dino Blue, Mark Walsh, the white cap, sitting in 2nd, and then Limerick Lace and Jack Kennedy in 3rd. Again, Allegorie of de Vassy inclined to go out to her right. Bride's Hill is down at the running rail, the blue and yellow for Keith Donoghue as they close in now on fence 7. And then a small break to She Could Be Anything with the yellow sleeves in advance of Royal Margot jumping up on her inner. Fontaine Calange has got 2 behind as they turn to meet rising ground. Mayhem Maya is last but one, and Jetée Port at the tail. Almost single file stuff now. They're about to crest the rise and make the descent towards the 8th. Allegorie de Vassy with an uncontested lead, stalked by Dino Blue. Limerick Lace is racing on the far side of Bride's Hill. 2 or 3 lengths away, She Could Be Anything ahead of Royal Margot, the dark blue and grey. And then back to Fontaine Calange in a dark blue jacket ahead of Mayhem Maya, and Jetée Port remains last of all. And again, Allegorie de Vassy goes out to her right. Moving on now towards the water jump, approaching halfway. And the Mrs. Paddy Power Mare's Chase. Allegorie de Vassy not so far in front. Awkward there as well. She slightly bunny hopped it. Much more fluent leap in 2nd from Dino Blue, who's got clear sailing up the running rail. And they close in on the first of a pair of open ditches. Bride's Hill is in behind the leading duo. Limerick Lace took off and landed in 4th. Ahead of She Could Be Anything, the yellow sleeves. Royal Margot down at the running rail, and then Mayhem Maya and Fontaine Calange, and last of all is Jetée Port, and they're heading now for the final mile, and there would still be 10 or maybe 12 lengths from first to last. Fontaine Calange has dropped out to the tail of the field, and there's the first to really begin to struggle. Allegorie de Vassy leading them towards 6 outs, out to her right, but jumping soundly enough from Dino Blue. Bride's Hill is a very close 3rd. Limerick Lace on the outer, She Could Be Anything, who is inching a little bit closer. 5 from home now coming up, but still a very long way out. Allegorie de Vassy over Dino Blue. And then Bride's Hill, Limerick Lace, She Could Be Anything, Royal Margot. Mayhem Maya is being ridden along as they prepare to make the descent. A long gap has then developed at Jetée Port and Fontaine Calange, who continue but tailed off. 4 out, Allegorie de Vassy. Spring-heeled, again going right, but she gave it plenty of daylight, and she continues to allow Dino Blue clear sailing up the running rail. And Mark Walsh sitting quietly on the descent. Bride's Hill in the blue and yellow is edging into it. She Could Be Anything in 4th. Limerick Lace back to 5th. Then Royal Margot in the dark blue and grey, and over the 3rd last they go. Allegorie de Vassy joined by Dino Blue, who comes there travelling very strongly, it would seem. A long run now back towards the final 2 fences. They've got 3 furlongs left to go in the Mrs. Paddy Power Mare's Chase. Allegorie de Vassy is now stared in the eye by Dino Blue. Bride's Hill trying to hunt down the leading pair. Back in 4th, She Could Be Anything. Limerick Lace well beaten. Here's 2 out. Dino Blue jumps into a narrow lead from Allegorie de Vassy. Bride's Hill has got work to do. Dino Blue shaken up by Mark Walsh, asked to extend. Here's the last. Dino Blue over it. Allegorie de Vassy is down, a tumbling fall. Bride's Hill is left a remote 2nd. She Could Be Anything back in 3rd. Dino Blue powering on up the Cheltenham Hill. 2nd in the race 12 months ago. Her 4th festival. She's in the winner's enclosure. Willie Mullins, Mark Walsh, JP McManus, Dino Blue. Bride's Hill in 2nd. She Could Be Anything 3rd. Mayhem Maya back in 4th. Allegorie de Vassy is up, and so too Paul Townend.
Which is good news all round. But for the 2nd consecutive race, last year's Bride...
On the inside is Wingman, together with Wendigo, and they're off for the Grade 1 Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. 3 miles ahead of them, Wingman towards the inside is right up there, and so too is Marchantou in the early stages. So too Jax Jr. together with First Confession, and also Derry Hassan Paddy as they rise at flight number 1. They're safely over that. At the moment it's Native Hill who is the back marker, and Jasmine DeVoe is last but one. Also Flicker of Hope is towards the rear of the field, as already they cross over flight number 2. And on the inside it is Wingman who is right up there with Derry Hassan Paddy, the royal blue colours, and then First Confession also in the first wave as they go over the third flight of hurdles. Working just a little bit wider is Jax Jr. He's racing just in advance of Intense Approach, who's quite wide on the track as they go around that dogleg turn. That leading group being hunted up by the grey Argento Boy towards the inside together with Yellow Car, and then just a little bit wider Marchantou is just slightly shuffled back. Sounds Victorious is next in the field, then the Big Westerner. She's got a good position racing in midfield as they go over the flight, which takes them towards the top of their hill. Jasmine DeVoe has now been relegated to last. Native Hill is now last but one. Ballyboe is last but two, and the French Raider Jet Blue also in the last quartet, ridden patiently by James Reevely, as now they've reached the top of the hill and begin to freewheel down towards the next flight, which will be flight number 5. And it is Wingman and Jack Kennedy on the inside of Derry Hassan Paddy and Derek Fox racing in a very close second. They've now got a break of a couple of lengths over Jax Jr. in third, wide Intense Approaches in fourth. First Confession is in fifth. Argento Boy, the grey, to the inside is racing in sixth. Marchantou to the outside is in seventh. They're followed by Yellow Car. After Yellow Car is Sounds Victorious, and then the Orange Silks of Fishery Lane, as now they have reached flight number 5, and all the leaders took it safely. There was a little bit of a mistake there by In at the Park, and also not that fluent was Port Julane, as they're now about to make the turn into the home straight for the first time. Native Hill at the back of the field was just pushed along. Ballyboe in the last trio, another one who was just niggled coming out of that turn. Racing between those two, last year's bumper winner Jasmine DeVoe. So they're racing on towards halfway in the Grade 1 Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle, and it is still Wingman who leads the way to Derry Hassan Paddy in second place. Jax Jr. is in third, and then on the outside in fourth position, Intense Approach, as they prepare to rise at flight number 6, the last in a circuit's time. First Confession will take that one in fifth position, followed by Sounds Victorious, and on that one's inside Argento Boy. Marchantou, and then the red and black stars of the Big Westerner. She's hunting up the leading group. Then the Yellow Car pushed along on that one's outside. Wendigo up against the inside rail. Fishery Lane is next to the field, and then Flicker of Hope. After Flicker of Hope, quite wide, is Jigs Forge, who's plotting a wide course as they head into the back straight. Native Hill at the back of the field still being pushed along, so too is Ballyboe. Jet Blue makes no move at the moment from the rear of the field, neither to Jasmine DeVoe, as they head now down the back straight. In at the Park, another one who's racing in the last half dozen. So now they've gone through halfway, and they're taking the 7th flight of hurdles, at which Ballyboe was slow and has now been relegated to last of the 20. And it's Wingman on the inside of Derry Hassan Paddy, who are still the first two. Jax Jr. is racing in third. First Confession on the inside jumped that flight in fourth position. Then on the outside, Intense Approach. For the first time, Jet Blue gets a shake of the reins at the very back of the field, but they're very tightly bunched as they go over the third flight of hurdles on this section of the course. The whole field are only covered by about 10 lengths, and the leader is Wingman, as now they begin to take the dogleg turn, facing up towards the third from home. It's Wingman who still has the lead over Derry Hassan Paddy, racing in second. First Confession to the inside, followed next by Jack Jr. and then the Big Westerner, who is travelling very smoothly for Dara O'Keefe, and now moving into fourth place as they go over the third from home. At the back of the field, a slow jump by Jasmine DeVoe, who's now last but one, and last is Native Hill, the first one to be dropped from the main group of the field. One who is now beginning to improve from midfield is Sounds Victorious as they go into the turn out wide. Another one improving is Jigs Forge. So into the top turn they go, and entering the final 5 furlongs, 2 more flights of hurdles to take. Wingman has got the lead too. Derry Hassan Paddy to the outside in second place. He takes a pull on the Big Westerner on the inside in third, and she's still going very powerfully. On her outside is Jax Jr., and wider still is Jigs Forge. Also wide, Marchantou, and now Jasmine DeVoe, who was right out the back of the field early, is scything his way through the field. field. They're going over the second run home, at which the long-time leader made a mistake, Wingman, and that mistake also hampered the big Westerner, who now all of a sudden loses a couple of lengths to the leading group. They make the turn in with one flight to take in the Albert Bartlett, and it is now Derry Hassan Paddy who has taken the lead to Jasmine DeVoe towards the near side. Paul Townend taking a look across to see if there are any dangers, as now Jasmine DeVoe has quickened up. The big Westerner now has daylight, and now she is beginning to eat into the lead of Jasmine DeVoe. These two pull clear of Derry Hassan Paddy coming down towards the final flight. Jasmine DeVoe on the near side jumped it big and bold, a lead of a length and a half over the big Westerner in second. Derry Hassan Paddy is in third, Wendigo in fourth, together with Yellow Car, but it is Jasmine DeVoe out in front, and it is a second festival win for Jasmine DeVoe, and it is a 10th win at this year's festival for Willie Mullins. Paul Townend and Jasmine DeVoe have taken the Albert Bartlett. They have beaten the big Westerner in second, followed home by Derry Hassan Paddy.
4 out of 4 on the day. He equals his record, Willie Mullins. 10 festival winners this year.
Is raised. And they're off for the 2025 running of the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. They have a journey in excess of 3¼ miles, 22 fences ahead of them. Ahoy Senor is the first one to lead. Towards the inside is Bambridge. Out wide is Gentleman's Game as they rise at the first. The Real Whacker made a mistake, and also, I Know the Way You're Thinking was not fluent, held up at the back of the field. On towards fence number 2, Ahoy Senor and Derek Fox wander down the fence, but jump it well enough. They're out in front now by 2.5 lengths. 2 racing in second position. Towards the inside is Bambridge. He's taken on for second by the Real Whacker, and wider then is Gentleman's Game. Next is Monty Star, then Galopin des Champs, then towards the inside races I Know the Way You're Thinking. He jumped the second better than he did the first. Towards the outside, Corbett's Cross, and at the back of the field is Royal Pagaille as they make the run now on towards fence number 3, the first fence taken down the back straight. Ahoy Senor has got the lead of a length and a half going into it. Went just slightly right-handed, as too did Galopin des Champs towards the wide outside as they go on now towards the water jump, which is going to be fence number 4. Ahoy Senor with the Real Whacker towards the inside. Gentleman's Game, the grey, out wide. Those were the first 3. Landing rather steeply there, Galopin des Champs at the water jump. He's racing at the moment in a share of 5th position, just in behind Monty Star, and Bambridge has just been shuffled slightly back through the field as they go over that open ditch, at which on the outside, Corbett's Cross just trailed his hind legs through that fence. I Know the Way You're Thinking still towards the rear of the field, and held up at the back of the pack is Royal Pagaille, who rather clambered over that plain fence taken as they made the climb up the hill. That was fence number 6. The dogleg turn carries them on now towards the second of the open ditches, fence 7. And it is Ahoy Senor setting a decent tempo, stood a long way off that open ditch. Galopin des Champs just reached for that a little, as now they go up towards the fence right at the top of the hill, and that will be fence number 8. Another plain one now. Ahoy Senor to the Real Whacker racing in second, Gentleman's Game in third. Then there's a break of a couple of lengths back to Monty Star in 4th position. Bambridge improves once again in 5th through on the inside of Galopin des Champs. And then I Know the Way You're Thinking. A little bit wide is Corbett's Cross, and still weighted with at the back of the field is Royal Pagaille. On now towards the fence taken as they begin to make the descent, and a bad mistake there by Monty Star. Monty Star really made a very, very bad error, and that was a great sit by Rachel Blackmore. So didn't really lose much ground with that error, Monty Star, as they now make the run down the hill and on towards the next plain one, which will be the 10th. It will complete their jumping on the first circuit. And Ahoy Senor has had a tendency at just about every fence so far to jump away to his right. He did that more markedly there at fence number 10. But it is still Ahoy Senor who leads the way. To the Real Whacker in second, and Gentleman's Game is in third. Bambridge to the inside in 4th. Between horses, Monty Star. Then out wide is Galopin des Champs. He's been followed by Corbett's Cross with with I Know the Way You're Thinking on the inside, and Royal Pagaille has always been last of the field of 9. They've completed a circuit. They're taking the 11th. Ahoy Senor went over that, but not quite as quick in the air as the Real Whacker, and on the outside, that was Gentleman's Game, and so they're at halfway in the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. This is fence number 12, and it is Ahoy Senor who leads the parade. So a circuit to go in the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. Ahoy Senor has got the lead at the moment. Galopin des Champs is racing around about 6 lengths off the leader. Ahoy Senor to the outside. Gentleman's Game is now in second. The Real Whacker is in third. 2 lengths away to Bambridge, who is in fourth, and then Montistar is in fifth. Out wide, Galopin des Champs. Towards the inside, I Know the Way You're Thinking. Followed by Corbett's Cross and then Royal Pagaille. So setting off down the Max straight on towards fence number 13. Ahoy Senor once again jinks away to the right over that, but jumped it well. 2 in second place, Gentleman's Game. On the inside is the Real Whacker, right up against the fence. He's followed by Bambridge and then Montistar, and over the second of the water jumps, this is the 14th. And as they took that one rather slow at the back of the field was Royal Pagaille. On now towards the penultimate open ditch, fence number 15 in the race, and it is Ahoy Senor, dived at it, and he's down. Ahoy Senor is down. Montistar is badly hampered, and also Galopin des Champs was hampered, carried out quite wide there. So that has left the Real Whacker in front, going over the next to Gentleman's Game in second. And now they've got a break of about 4 lengths over Bambridge in third. Montistar is in fourth. Galopin des Champs around the outside. On the inside is I Know the Way You're Thinking. Then a further couple of lengths to Corbett's Cross, and then a further 4 lengths to Royal Pagaille. A mistake on the outside by Gentleman's Game over the final open ditch, and now they climb. They climb to the top of the hill for the final time in the Boodles Gold Cup, and on the inside, the Real Whacker. On the outside, Gentleman's Game in the air together. Then Montistar in third, and now Paul Townend allows Galopin des Champs to make ground around the outside. They take the top turn. Now they freewheel on towards the 4th from home. Bambridge is there on the inside. Out wide is Corbett's Cross. Also, I Know the Way You're Thinking is still right there as they now begin to make the run down towards the 3rd from home. And it's Darragh O'Keefe and Gentleman's Game who have now got on. The Real Whacker is pushed along towards the inside rail. Galopin des Champs has every chance on the outside. He comes right through now to almost dispute the lead. On the wide outside is Corbett's Cross, then Montistar, followed by I Know the Way You're Thinking. They're about to make the final turn. Inside the final 3 furlongs, they have 2 more fences to take, and it is Galopin des Champs with history in his sights, and he breezes into the lead, but he's followed now by I Know the Way You're Thinking, who is going to be a danger to the outside. The second last, Galopin des Champs by only half a length. Down is Corbett's Cross, down now towards the 22nd and final fence. I Know the Way You're Thinking noses into the lead. I Know the Way You're Thinking jumps into the lead over Galopin des Champs in second. These 2 have pulled clear of the rest as they race up towards the line. I Know the Way You're Thinking is driven clear by Mark Walsh, and the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup goes to I Know the Way You're Thinking. Galopin des Champs was second. In third came Gentleman's Game, and in fourth was Montistar. And they're off for the St James's Place Festival Challenge Open. Hunter's Chase, a little bit slow to begin, was Take All, who's behind the others in the early stages. It's on the line towards the inside, right up there with Shearer as they go over fence number 1. All Mankind made a mistake. He was rather barged into by Rocky's Howyer, who was very awkward going over the first. Going over the second on the outside, Lisley Ladd has now come through to take the lead, and they're all safely over the first 2 of the 22 fences. So on the outside, Lisley Ladd. On the inside, that is It's on the Line. Those are the first 2. Shearer racing up between them, and so too is Bardenstown Lad. They're then being followed by Lift Me Up racing on the inside of Rocky's Howyer. Then towards their outside, as they make the run into the back straight, is Fairly Famous, who's racing alongside Go On Ches as they race towards fence number 3. All All Mankind just shuffle back towards the inside together with Angel's Dawn as they go over the first offences taken down the back straight, at which the back marker was Take All. Also towards the rear of the field in the very early stages is Rye Hill. Also right out the back towards the outside, Haven't Time, as they go over the water jump for the first time, and Shearer just about had the lead over that. So it's Shearer to on the wide outside Lisley Lad. Those are the first two, and between those two races Bardenstown Lad. Then it's on the line towards the inside as they go over that open ditch, and again all over safely, and now they go on towards another plain fence, which will be fence number 6. And it is Shearer and Olive Nichols who just about had the lead as they went over that particular fence. Again, all of them are safely to the other side, and now they take the dogleg turn, which carries them on towards another of the open ditches. So as they do so, the leader is Shearer, followed by Bardenstown Lad, who raced in second. Lisley Lad took it in third, and over in fourth place was It's On The Line. Very slow over that at the back of the field was Rye Hill, and now they climb on towards the fence going to the top of the hill. Into fifth now is Fairly Famous. Then in sixth came Go On Shez as they went over that. The grey Angel's Breath made a mistake at that particular fence, which was fence number 8. Around the turn at the top of the hill and on now towards the 9th before they make the run back down towards home for the first time. And it's Shearer now taken on by Bardenstown Lad on the outside in second. Lisley Lad in third. It's On The Line was over in fourth position. At the back of the field, another mistake there by Rye Hill, whose jumping has rather gone to pot. So now they make the run down towards fence number 10, the final fence on their first complete circuit. Shearer leads, Bardenstown Lad racing in second. It's On The Line towards the inside in a share of third. Lisley Lad on that one's outside. Fairly Famous will take that one in fifth position. Go On Shez was over in sixth. In seventh came Angel's Breath. Then towards the inside, the yellow cap of Rocky's Howyer. He's being followed by Lift Me Up. On that one's outside is Angel's Dawn. A little bit wider is Wonderwall, who's getting closer, and so too is Plan of Attack. They're then being followed by Django. After Django on the inside is What a Glance. What a Glance followed by All Mankind, who is right through on the inside. A little bit wider is Music Drive. Wider still west of Carrick, the vivid orange colours, followed by Khan Funnock as they go over the first fence of the two, taken in the home straight. A little slow over that was On The Ropes, who's certainly in the last third of the field. So too is O'Fleuron, who's also drifting back as they go over what will be the last in the circuit's time, and it is Shearer who leads them now up past the enclosures with a circuit to go in the St James's Place Festival. Fox Hunters, the leader is Shearer. To in second, Bardenstown Lad. It's On The Line is racing in third, and Lisley Lad is in fourth position. Then followed towards the inside by Go On Shez, who's racing in fifth. Fairly Famous is in sixth. Then towards the inside is Rocky's Howyer. Pulled up is Angel's Breath. Angel's Breath has been pulled up, so now they're beginning to make the run down the back straight, going on towards next, and All Mankind is being pulled up. All Mankind is pulled up, going over the next, and it's Shearer who leads. Bardenstown Lad was over in second. It's On The Line towards the inside. Lisley Lad is a little bit wider to that one. They're followed by Fairly Famous. After Fairly Famous is Go On Shez, and then Rocky's Howyer, who's towards the inside. Wonderwall making a bit of ground. The blue and white on the wide outside as they go over the water jump for the final time, at which O'Fleuron is tailed off, and the poor jumping Rye Hill is also tailed off. Going over the penultimate open ditch, and Lift Me Up took that fence by the roots. The rider Jack Andrews lost an iron for a stride or two. He's got it back. Now they're going over another plain one. Shearer reaches for it, jumps it well, however, to Bardenstown Lad, who is ridden. Also ridden to hold a position against the rail. It's On The Line. And then around the outside of that one is Go On Shez, who's getting much closer now for Tom Hutsby. Lift Me Up is rallying towards the inside as they go over the final open ditch. There was a mistake there by Take All, who passed one or two. So they continue to climb on now towards fence number 18. And it is Shearer and Olive Nichols who still have the lead over Go On Shez, who is in second. Wonderwall has jumped into third. It's On The Line towards the inside, took that one in fourth position. Followed on the inside by Rocky's Howyer. Around the outside, Angel's Dawn, following stablemate Wonderwall into the race. Towards the inside, Will It Go Ahead is creeping and much closer from a long way back. And then towards the outside is Plan of Attack, another one who is now beginning to pass runners. Towards the inside, that is Khan Funnock, who is also picking up from some way back and switching out wide. What a Glance, another one who stays on with Take All, making the run down the hill towards the third from home. Shearer being taken on both wings. Kings. It's on the line towards the inside, only a length away. Wonderwall towards the outside. Down there, Take All has fallen. Badly hampered 1 or 2, including Haven't Time was beaten at the time, and Bonstown Lad. Now they're on the turn and back towards home. On the inside, the dual runner-up, it's on the line. Shearer is still right there. Wonderwall towards the near side. Will it go ahead? Has now moved into 4th. On the outside, the mare, Angel's Dawn, is in 5th. Con Funnock is staying on. On the outside, Plan of Attack, Wonderwall leads them over the second from home. So it's on the line on the inside. Will it go ahead? Now stays on into 3rd. Now in 4th is Shearer. Here's the final fence, and it's Wonderwall and Rob James. They lead by a length and a half to Will It Go Ahead, who now stays on into 2nd. On the inside, it's on the line, is staying on really gamely. There's another half furlong to go. Wonderwall on the inside, it's on the line. It's going to be tight as they race up close home. Wonderwall, and it's on the line. Then in 3rd, Will It Go Ahead. They were clear of Shearer, who's involved in a photo for 4th with Music Drive.
And after all, it's Wonderwall who wins the St James's Place Hunters Chase for Rob James and Sam Curling. Clinging on grimly by a neck. Runner-up again.
Great asset in this race.
Flag is raised. They're off.
Conditional jockey's handicap hurdle away to a first timer, and Kopek Demi is sent forward, taken on by Carafon as they go towards the first. Nurse Susan through on the inside. Kopek Demi led them over the first but made a mistake at the other end of the field. Push the Button is pushed along in the early stages. Also at the rear of the field is Tap on the Go as they go over flight number 2. Nurse Susan was the leader over that. There was a mistake by Mordor. So now they go into the downhill sweeping turn, and Nurse Susan and Tristan Dorrell have got the lead. Racing in 2nd, Kopek Demi, racing on the inside of No Questions Asked. They're then being followed by No Ordinary Joe. Out a little bit wider is the Enabler as they begin to make the turn back towards the home straight. Also prominent is East India Express in that front wave of 6 or 7. Carafon also in the vanguard, followed by Raglan Road, and then Toon Surveyor, who turned quite wide into the home straight with Doyen Quest for company. Push the Button is the back marker as Nurse Susan already takes them over the 3rd flight of hurdles, at which they were all safe. Uncle Bert, another one towards the rear of the field. So too is Electric Mason. Also right out the back is Wild About Oscar, and now a long run before they encounter flight number 4, which will be the last in a circuit's time. Nurse Susan has got a lead of a length and a half over No Questions Asked in 2nd. On the outside, East India Express just in 3rd. Kopek Demi, the white cap, is in 4th. Carafon, the all green, is in around about 5th position with No Ordinary Joe. Then right over on the far side, Minella Sixo. A little bit wider is the Enabler, and wider still is Doyen Quest, followed by Raglan Road. Then Punctuation, who's on the inside, followed by the grey Harsh. Next in the field is Wadhu as they go over the flight, which is right in front of the enclosures. Push the Button, still the back marker, and also at the back is Electric Mason. They set out on their final circuit, and the leader is Nurse Susan, and she's got a lead of around about a length and a half over No Questions Asked, racing in 2nd place. East India Express is in 3rd. Kopek Demi on the inside rail is in 4th. Carafon is in 5th. The Enabler out wide is in 6th. No Ordinary Joe made the turn in 7th. Doyen Quest making ground on the outside is in 8th position. They're then being followed towards the inside as they go down the back straight by Minella Sixo, and then Punctuation racing alongside Mordor, who's made up 1 or 2 places. Harsh just in behind them as Nurse Susan takes them over the first flight down the back. Push the Button is still last of all. Electric Mason is last but 1. Uncle Bert is last but 2. And now they're going on towards the second one down the back. Nurse Susan at halfway in the Martin Pipe, led by a couple of lengths, all safely over. Ridden along towards the inside. Minella Sixo has lost its place, and now they're going on towards flight number 7. Nurse Susan led the way over that too. No Questions Asked, who took it in 2nd position. Kopek Demi against the inside rail is in 3rd. East India Express a little bit wider. The Enabler, and then Doyen Quest, who's widest of all. A Carafon. Then on the inside, No Ordinary Joe and Raglan Road, Woodhu. After Woodhu, Punctuation. On the wide outside, Tap on the Go, improving from some way back. Harsh is next to their field, followed by Mordor. Then on the inside is Park of Kings as they go over the flight, which takes them towards the top of the hill. Toon Surveyor has badly lost its place. Act of Authority is dropping back. Wild About Oscar Oscar is next to the field. Then Stormbreaker is being ridden along. Uncle Bert, followed by Electric Mason, as now they go into that top turn. Flash Collonge is one of those who's right out the back of the field as now they begin to make the run with just 2 more flights of hurdles to take in the Martin Pipe, and the leader is still Nurse Susan. Into second goes East India Express, the enabler around the outside, the maroon and white. Then towards the inside, no questions asked, is in 4th position. Kopek de Me against the inside in 5th, with No Ordinary Joe in the same ownership. Out wide, Toonservator is staying on with the White Blaze alongside Tap on the Go. Woodhoo just in behind them with Doyen Quest as they got over the second last flight of hurdles, and now they're beginning to make the turn back towards home. Nurse Susan taken on by East India Express around the outside. Now ridden along, the enabler is in 3rd. Woodhoo staying on towards the inside for Danny Gilligan and making giant strides through on the inside. No Ordinary Joe, last year's runner-up, is also picking up with Tap on the Go, and then Toonservator towards the near side, but it is the mare Woodhoo has come through to lead in the Martin Pipe with a 1/4 mile to go and 1 flight of hurdles to take. Woodhoo has gone clear. Raglan Road staying on over on the far side with Active Authority and Tap on the Go, but Woodhoo is over the last and clear by 4 lengths. Raglan Road continues to close. Active Authority over on the far side, but it is Woodhoo who is out in front and not for catching. Every race on Gold Cup Day has gone to the Irish. Woodhoo has taken the Martin Pipe. Active Authority, Raglan Road, Tap on the Go, push the button from nowhere, stayed on next, but it is a clean sweep for the Emerald Isle on Gold Cup Day at Cheltenham.
7 out of 7.